Wanderers can mean different things to different people. For some, they represent one last shot at redemption during a long and difficult season. The Western Sydney Wanderers hosting their arch rivals, Sydney FC, in a match where they have nothing but pride to play for this evening. But pride in a derby can mean an awful lot. We know the old cliches. It's a match that's still only worth 3 points, but don't believe it. The Sydney derby is a unique event in the Australian sporting landscape. The city of Sydney divided down social, geographical lines. And this evening, Wonderland will be hoping to dream again, because even in a season where you can finish bottom of the table, a win in a derby, a fantastic goal, a team that plays with identity and style, well, that can live long in the memory. Redemption for the Wanderers, for Sydney FC, the chance to build strong foundations under Patrick Kisnorbo with an eye at finals football, because a 2-goal victory for them this evening will send them up to 3rd place on the table with 2 games left to play and be all but assured finals football. The form is not great for either side, both winless in their last 4 for this 44th Sydney derby. Wanderers coach Gary Van Egmond has made 2 changes from the side that went down 3-0 to Melbourne City last weekend. Alex Gersbach makes way for Jared Carluccio in the fullback roles as Josh Brillante continues in the centre of defence. And up front, Brandon Borrello returns from injury to replace Aidan Hammond. Brillante, the only former Sydney FC player in the starting 11, as Gersbach and Costa Barbarouses are on the bench alongside Ryan Fraser. Well, for Sydney FC, Patrick Kisnorbo's 2nd match in charge. He's without Alex Grant and Marcel Tisserand. They were both missing last weekend. Added to that, Victor Campuzano, the Spanish forward, is also out. 2 changes. Wataru Camicho holds his place in midfield as Paul Okonexla returns at the expense of Reece Yuli. And the other change is the Peruvian Piero Quispe, who comes into that playmaker role at the expense of the club's top scorer this season, Thiago Quintal. There is the 60-year-old Gary Van Egmond. He knows that he will not be the first-team men's coach next season. The former Sydney FC man, Ufuk Talay, will have that job. And perhaps Ufuk Talay is somewhere in the stands this evening watching his future club as he sees his former club under Patrick Kisnorbo, a man that loves the fire and the rumble of a derby match. The man looking to keep it all in check, Daniel Elder. He's being assisted by Hugh Fenton-White and Luke Genemales. Sam Kelly is the 4th official. And in the VAR room, Kate Yachevitz and Tim Danaskus this evening. So much history in this fixture between these 2 sides. When Sydney were flying at the start of the season, it was the Wanderers that clipped their wings. Alu Kuol's only goal settling that one. Sydney FC roared back at home, led by the irrepressible Thiago Quintal with 2 goals that day. 3 assists for the former Wanderers teenager Akola Kon, as Sydney recorded a 4-1 victory. Now it is the decider. Fantastic sight, Combank Stadium. The Bulgarian Božidar Krajev, he is the top scorer for the Wanderers this season with 5. He scored 13 in 54 for the Phoenix. He has 13 in 49 for the Wanderers, his 50th appearance for them this evening. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, he's got just 1 goal since returning to Australia. It came against Melbourne Victory, but he has 5 career goals against the Wanderers, the most he's scored against anyone. Ufuk Talay masterminded Sydney FC's 4-1 victory over their arch rivals. Nobody expected what happened next. Ufuk Talay poached by the opposition, the Western Sydney Wanderers, for next season. He signed a 2-year deal. He was let go immediately by Sydney FC. It just adds another layer of spice to this one, Daniel McBreen, as if we needed it.
Well, indeed. There's not much needed to be said for these two bitter rivals. And there might not be too much to play for apart from pride for Western Sydney and just to stave off that wooden spoon.
As here comes Sydney onto the front foot. It's a good ball from Al Hassan Toure immediately into the action. It's taken a deflection on the way through, so Ben Garuccio will look to keep the Sky Blues on the front foot.
But I'm sure Western Sydney players, fans and coaching staff would love to stop Sydney FC moving into third position on the ladder. That'd do them nicely, just to take the bragging rights for this season.
It's a great ball from Popovic for Garuccio, back post, oh, and Stamatolopoulos. So close, he just couldn't reach it. The length of a stud, perhaps, between him and the opening goal.
Well, it was a misjudged long ball. Look at the first touch from Garuccio. It's fantastic. And he just overhits the ball for Stamatolopoulos. So close early in this match.
Sydney on the front foot, though. Well, it was Ryan Fraser that scored after just 40 seconds the last time these two sides met. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. So close to returning the favour. Ben Garuccio, 3 assists for him so far this season for Sydney FC. He's enjoyed a great campaign. The Ufuk Talay storyline, though, really just making this an absolute must-win for these two sides. Camijo, no way through. He's looking to seize the opportunities. We see that chance again.
Well, you can't say that Stamatolopoulos didn't give everything to it. Full strength.
He was almost just out of step. Here's Camijo again. Back with Popovic. It was his raking crossfield ball which released Garuccio. No Tisserand and no Alex Grant, so plenty of experience missing. This is the Sydney defence that conceded so many goals last season. Apart from Garuccio, the youngsters, Courtney Perkins and Popovic. Panazopoulos, who is at left back. We weren't sure who would be where in the absence of Gersbach. So Carluccio is at right back. Kamkar is in the centre of defence alongside Brillante. Oh, as Lawrence Thomas takes a touch, takes his time. Carluccio, Ugarkovic with gyros. Here's Thurgate, there's space on the left. He's seen it, it's Panazopoulos, but the pass is under hit.
Well, it was good football, wasn't it, from Western Sydney, played out under the pressure. Just when you thought Panazopoulos was going to be released on that far touchline, just under-hit pass.
There's more good play from Garuccio, and that was a searching ball, looking again for Stamatolopoulos. Kamkar, is it going to go out of play? It's not, so Lawrence Thomas has to get there. Ocon Exler, is there a foul? Referee says play on. Ugarkovic with Kraev. Match number 50 in red and black for Božidar Kraev. Panazopoulos for his good mate Dylan Cicluna, but it's under hit. Here's Arslan. Ahmed Arslan shoots, saved by Lawrence Thomas. Kispe, the cutback, and blocked by Carluccio. Sydney FC right on top in the opening 4.5 minutes.
Well, there's a little discussion now between Panazopoulos and Cicluna. Both maybe saying the other was at fault.
The corner taken quickly, taken short. Ocon Exler. Yet to score for Sydney FC. He's got a couple of assists to his name. No bigger stage to rectify that little anomaly.
thought at first that Arslan had lost the moment, and he swiveled, got the strike away. Lawrence Thomas called into action. It's been a bright start from Sydney FC.
Although clearly stunned by the criticisms of their performance last week in Brisbane, a scoreless draw in which they had just the one shot in the entire match. I can tell you they've already doubled that tally this evening. They had to wait until the 46th minute, stoppage time in the first half, to have a shot against Brisbane. They've already had two, but now Jai Rose, who was one of the few bright points for the Wanderers in their last game against Melbourne City, looking to work back, work his way into the game. Brillante with Kankar. The arrival of Gary Van Egmond has breathed new life into his season. Philip Kankar. Here he is again, the number 14. With Carluccio. Early ball for Brandon Borello. Ugarkovic, the switch. Panazopoulos for Kraev into the area. Mojadar Kraev. Has he just been wrestled off the ball there? It's eventually he's gone out for a throw.
Well, he might have a case there. Ryan Grant with both arms just pushing him away.
There wasn't much concern for the ball from Ryan Grant. Here's Jai Rose turning to face forward. He gets it back from Borello, and again Jai Rose still. Carluccio. Nice rapid passing of the ball as the Wanderers look to bite back.
Well, it was sharp, wasn't it? Little 1 and 2 touch football. Carluccio just took his eye off the ball at the wrong moment.
The home side, we heard it in the pre-game, they have never picked up the wooden spoon. A win against the old enemy would be a great way, if not to erase all the heartache of this season, but certainly give them something to cheer about. Again, Daniel Elder just lets play continue. It's getting physical already. Panazopoulos, the cross. Courtney Perkins with the header by, oh, it's fallen invitingly for the Wanderers. Borello can't find a shooting opportunity. Jai Rose pounces on the ball again and fires just wide. Well, it's a fiery start to the derby.
Well, great start from Sydney FC. The reports now from Western Sydney Wanderers. You know, he's let a lot of this go, hasn't he? Physical stuff. Ryan Grant this time wants the foul. The letter says no thank you, and as it falls out, Jai Rose does well, but then just slices across it, maybe just hurrying a little.
Just snapping at it, snatching at it. In the end, Jai Rose looking for that first A-League goal. There's not much doubt on what we've seen in 6 previous appearances that that's just a matter of time. Camijo with the header, goes again. Rose gets there, rides the challenge of Ocon Exler. Taking on Courtney Perkins, he's surrounded by Sky Blue, still got the pass away for Thurgate. And Alexander Popovich launches it long. Brillante has to be careful, here comes Toure. Like a freight train.
Well, he had no idea he was coming. He was looking over the left shoulder, Brillante, talking to his teammate. Alassane Toure just nipped around the right-hand side.
A hat-trick against the Newcastle Jets, and then a goal against the Mariners back on the 6th of December. There has been an injury in that time for Al Hassan Toure, but he hasn't scored in his last 10. Arslan. A little bit of training ground shenanigans. Courtney Perkins again for Garucho. That ball just had to turn and prop and wait. Oh, it's tight. Is there a foul there on Jai Rose? There was from Ben Garucho. And the switch taken quickly, but Anthony Panazopoulos wasn't even aware the ball was in play. Oh, it's given away cheaply. Camijo, here's Thurgate. Camijo did well with the foul. He made up for his own mistake. But this is a promising set piece now for Sydney FC.
Well, for just a brief moment, I thought Angus Thurgate was going to try the long distance strike as Devonish Mears was backtracking to his goal. Couldn't get it out of his feet in time. Wataru Camijo just said the foul will do me. Thank you very much.
And I think his coach, Patrick Kisnorbo, would have expected nothing less. There he is, the new boss of Sydney FC. Game number 2 for the man known as PK. Back-to-back premiers played the championship with Melbourne City. Now, Panazopoulos, the star of the first derby this season, standing over the free kick. He's back at home, back at Combank. Panazopoulos, it's over the wall, straight at Devonish Mears. A little too hot to handle, but comfortable enough in the end for the Sydney FC keeper.
Yeah, not too much trouble. A little bit of bend on it. Maybe caught Devonish Mears a little surprised, but he wasn't going to trouble him too much.
Just getting the eye in for Anthony Panazopoulos. There are some players that relish the atmosphere of a derby, and he's certainly one of them. Seems to grow in stature. Ball over the top for Stamatolopoulos. He got the better of Kankar. Brillante was there in cover. Panazopoulos, giant ball back. Almost went above the roof of the stadium, that one, from Panazopoulos. Here's Ocon Engsler. A rare start on the bench for him last weekend after his Socceroos duties. But he's straight back into the starting 11 as Reece Yuli heads to the bench. Kankar, good strength to get in front of Stamatolopoulos. Old Newcastle teammates for a spell, those two. Here's Panazopoulos as Kraev is wrestled to the ground. Panazopoulos continues. Advantage played. Oh, just for a moment there. Now Kraev is asking where's the yellow card for Ryan Grant. Absolutely furious, Bogdan Kraev. Referee Daniel Elder just telling him to calm down.
Well, there's a case there. He set the benchmark early, didn't he, Daniel Elder? It's the case of when is he going to have to bite the bullet and pull one up.
Devonish Mears, Popovich for Courtney Perkins. Arslan gets rid of it. There's plenty of holding on and shirt pulling in this one. Al Hassan Toure. A Socceroo himself, brother of Mo Toure, who's back in action over in the UK with Norwich. Here's Kispe. And again, Camijo. Courtney Perkins for Garuccio. And now Sydney FC looking to put their foot on the ball and dictate the tempo a little bit. Again, it's a ball over the top for Garuccio. Turns inside, Carluccio. Still going. Now, who got front position there? Referee says play on again. Kispe looking for Al Hassan Toure. He hit it first time and he poked it just wide.
Well, it's a good opportunity, born out of the desperation of Ben Garuccio. Again, it's the searching ball over the top of Carluccio. Garuccio gets into a bit of a tussle, and it's one of the most unorthodox challenges you'll ever see. We'll get another replay on that shortly. But that's directly what we spoke about in the pre-game there. That's a good opportunity. Just inside the box, central. Have to be asking questions of the goalkeeper there.
There is Jared Carluccio, who's down having that knee checked after that challenge with Garuccio. And there is Paul Lederer on the right, the Wanderers chairman and owner, and Mal Impiombato, the Wanderers football director. He's just moved from Western United, where he helped set up that club. He was also involved in Wellington Phoenix. He's a sporting football manager that knows all about rebuilds and builds. And Wanderers will be hoping that he can bring that success he's already brought to other clubs to the red and black. Let's head down to Narleen Mastu, who's with us on the sidelines this evening. Narleen.
Yeah, good evening, Robbie and Macca. Well, the atmosphere is absolutely pumping down here, and as expected, it's incredibly tense watching Patrick Kosnorbo constantly yelling instructions out to his players. I can tell you firsthand, he isn't too pleased with how easily the Wanderers have been finding space, particularly on that right-hand side. From an attacking standpoint, he's had a few words with Ben Garuccio as well to make more runs forward when they're in possession. So it's been a fiery start so far. If this opening 18 minutes is anything to go by, Robbie.
Thank you, Narleen. We'll be back to you throughout the evening, keeping a close eye on everything that's going down there between the two benches. Now, this doesn't look good for Carluccio.
Well, this is off the back of that challenge from Garuccio. Look here, he just throws himself across, and you see the knee buckle under Carluccio. For mine, that's a foul. I don't think I've ever seen a challenge like that in my many years in football.
Well, pleased to say Jared Carluccio can rejoin. Here's Kispe now. Just too much on it, looking to release Toure. He is quick, Al Hassan Toure, and he does offer that ball in behind for Sydney FC. Garuccio again. He certainly brought physicality to the derby. That's a good ball from Camijo for Toure! 4 months without a goal. Less than 20 minutes. And he's got Sydney FC in front. And he goads the red and black fans with a celebration down in front of them. Sydney FC strike first in the decider.
Well, that's how you answer the critics. The Harvey Norman replay. Look at him just peel off the shoulder. It's a wonderful ball. First touch is perfect, and then it's like a tracer bullet. Lovely ball. Kamiji Waitara, wonderful ball into the path, and look at that first touch. Fantastic. And then he just puts the boot through it. Lawrence Thomas can't don't get the arms up quick enough. It comes so fast. 4 months without a goal, and that's how you answer. Straight to the red and black bot. They won't like that, and he won't care.
Goal number 5 of the season. He joins Thiago Quintal with a quintet of goals, and one in the derby now. It's a little bit of Sydney derby history for Al Hassan Toure, who has also reached a little milestone. Mackie, you'll be pleased to hear. Al Hassan Toure has now scored more career goals in the A-League than he has in the Australia Cup. He's one of the all-time leading goal scorers in the Australia Cup. He has 11 goals in just 13 cup games. Well, now he has 12 in the A-League, even if this is match number 93.
Well, he took that one with aplomb, didn't he? Great movement, lovely touch, and a thunderbolt of a finish.
Carluccio again, getting away from Kispe. There's plenty of snapping at the heels. Again, look at the holding on. Borello bouncing around with Popovic. It's well played. Kraev for Thurgate. Panisopoulos. He's only ever scored against Macarthur FC.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Western Sydney, when they go into possession, Panisopoulos, Carluccio go high. Dylan Cicluna drops into the back with Josh Volante and Philip Kanko, and that's why we're seeing Panisopoulos high up that left-hand side. When that happens, you see Kraev and Gyros come narrow, and they try and overload that central area as well.
Those Sydney FC fans providing plenty of noise at the moment. Coolly done by Popovic. Now Ocon Exler looking to drive forward out of midfield, but the pass can't find Arslan. Brillante back to his goalkeeper.
Well, he's certainly up for the physical side of it today, isn't he, Brandon Borello? Back in the starting lineup. Rodney Perkins saw him coming and braced. There'll be a lot more of that to come.
Made sure he didn't get away with it unscathed either, by the looks of things. That's what a derby's all about. Arslan again turns inside. Like Stamatolopoulos, just the one goal to show since arriving. He probably deserves a little bit more. The boys were talking about it in the pre-game. He's had a number of shots just wide. He is a real creator in that forward line for Sydney FC, as he showed there. Lawrence Thomas again. Cicluna under pressure from Popovic, who is chasing him a long way, and there's a little bit of afters again. The Wanderers are behind again. It's the 12th time they've conceded the opening goal. They and Auckland, the only sides yet to win when conceding the opening goal this season, so that doesn't bode well for the side currently sitting bottom of the table. It will only take one goal though to relaunch them in this contest. Panisopoulos has the towel in place, so he's ready for the long throw. It is long as well, all the way. Kraev, it sits for him. Somehow at the back post now as Kispe takes over. Pretty well done by Alexander Popovic in the end. That's another real battle, physical one between those two. Carluccio, Ahmed, Arslan. One for Stamatolopoulos, and Carluccio does well.
Well, Al-Hassan Toure was on the other side, on that far side of the field. One-on-one leg race with Panasopoulos, and he wanted it. And he just had a little look as if to say, come on, you know I'm quick, just put it in front of me.
There you can see those three at the back that you were talking about, Macca. Cicluna at the top left of your screen there. Here's Thurgate. They have to get out of the press, though. Cicluna does that. Looks long for Carluccio. That's a good header for Jai Rose. Now, is he pushed over there by Garuccio? No, says the referee. "26 minutes played, already 7 shots at goal, 4 on target, 2 apiece. Possession is 50-50. First time ball from Toure. Stamatolopoulos will get there. Goes around the keeper and is blocked on the line by Brillante. As the flag goes up for offside in the end.
Well, it'll be a close one. And he must be thinking what he has to do. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos around the keeper. Let's have a look here. Nice first pass there. I'll tell you what, it is very close. Lawrence Thomas came and then stalled. What about Josh Brillante? He wasn't to know the offside flag was going up. Just got his body in the way. That's great defending. Well, he's not going to match them for pace, Josh Brillante, but he will match anyone for smarts.
Strong from Garuccio with Kispe. Back we come again. Sydney FC with the ball. Harrison Devonish-Mears looking for clean sheet number 10 of the season. Called up as a train-on with the Socceroos in the last window.
Well, what about his rise over the last 12 months? He had a very testy, shady last season, didn't he? Well, he has grown in stature this season. He's been fantastic for Sydney FC.
Kispe, Ocon-Exler with Popovic. They've worked that well. Here's Toure, overlapping one run from Ryan Grant, who just passed match number 400 with Sydney FC a couple of weeks ago. Here's Kispe, just dragging Ugarkovic around at the moment. Thurgate moves a lot higher defensively, up alongside Barello. There's Kraev on the left and Rose on the right. Both sets of active supporters behind the goals, making plenty of noise. Kispe able to turn and face forward. They're finding those little pockets at the moment. Arslan now. Again, Sydney come. Garuccio. And he's not happy with himself for the quality of that delivery.
And rightly so. He's got the quality. It's a good ball in from Arslan. You just see there, just doesn't get his foot around it. And I think Apostolos Stamatolopoulos is one of those strikers that wants early balls into the box.
Now here's Kankar. Cicluna with Ugarkovic. Kankar. That pass under hit again. Now is Kispe being caught? He has, according to referee Daniel Elder.
Let's have another look. Flicks the ball over the top. Gets a ball on the shoulder or the arm and holds his face.
No, the camera doesn't lie. Daniel Elder, he's let a lot go so far. It's just the 5th foul of the evening. 1 every 5 minutes. Most will be happy with that. Now, Stamatolopoulos does well. Arslan closed down by Kraev. Again, referee sees nothing wrong with that. The ball in. Stamatolopoulos! Great save. Well, he was offside again. The flag went up. Referee allows play to continue this time. There's a good chance for Stamatolopoulos, who will feel he should have hit the back of the net.
Well, it's the kind of early ball that he does like. Another look. Again, it's very tight. I'd say maybe he's onside. Hits it a little too close to Lawrence Thomas.
Well, a striker will tell you, Manga and his coach probably, the important thing is that he's getting in the right positions. Also helps if he puts it away.
Well, exactly.
Here goes Toure on another charge. Thomas for Thurgate. Well, Garucha couldn't get there quickly enough. Thurgate's continued his run. Galucha does well. Thurgate, that's a great turn. Fouled by Ocon-Exler. Again, he looks long for Borello. Well, one in the air by Courtney Perkins. Ooh! Brandon Borello straight through Paul Ocon-Exler. Now, Ben Garucho looking to get involved. Ocon-Exler's picked himself up. Piquet's right in the middle of it as well. The new coach right in front of the Sydney FC bench. The substitutes didn't like it. Well, he wears his heart on his sleeve. Sometimes the passions run a little too high for Brandon Borello. He clattered straight through Ocon-Exler in the resulting melee, though. Ocon-Exler was straight back to his feet, which is a good thing. The yellow card is coming out. Just a second yellow card of the season, and Ben Garucho gets his for being the first one to go on with it. Oh, there was almost, you've got to be careful, the players now, you can see the reactions. I was just about to say, you don't want to go the throat grab. That's one of the triggers for the VAR and for getting yourself in a whole lot of hot water. Ben Garucho loves playing against the Wanderers ever since he scored that goal of the season 4 years ago, the famous flying scorpion kick for Western United.
Well, he's been extremely pumped for this one, hasn't he? He's been very verbal with his teammates, with the referee, trying to get them going. A number of occasions today you've seen him just almost stop the play when the ball's with him. He's screaming, gesticulating, telling what his team wants to do, and he's got that man, PK, standing right behind him doing all the same.
Well, he was made for derbies, wasn't he? Wonder what Ufuk Talay is making of this. The former Sydney FC boss replaced 3 weeks ago by Patrick Kisnorbo after the rumours about his imminent transfer to the red and black just became too loud to ignore. He was then announced by the Wanderers that yes, it was all true, he was coming to the club and is already there.
Well, that's not why he left Sydney FC. They've already told us that, Robert.
We're going to have another long throw here for Anthony Panasopoulos. Getting the dew off the ball for better grip. The last throw made it nearly all the way to the penalty spot. Those Sydney FC fans, for him, he is the pantomime villain. It's another long ball. Back post, Graham! Well, he had a lot of time and space there, Božidar Graham.
Yeah. He had a difficult task. There was no pace on this. He's trying to force it with the header. And I think maybe you're suggesting, Robbie, that if he took a step back and the volley might have been the option. Just see, he's just trying to generate pace. It's a hard one with a head from that distance.
There's just a little bit between Rose and Ocon Engstler. Have a look at the feet of Jai Rose in the end, just catching Ocon Engstler, but I think he's making a bit of a meal of that one. Both players limping out of it. Kankar's header. A good one. Oh, Garucho beaten in the air by his teammate Courtney Perkins. Now Borrello again. Cuts back inside. The forward momentum has been momentarily lost. Bugarkovic with Carluccio. Good pressure from Ahmet Arslan. You can see, looking to see if his teammates are following him with the press. Panasopoulos, great touch around Grant. First time ball, well, it was on. The execution just wasn't quite there.
Yeah, they did wonderfully well to get around the press. Ryan Grant sucked right in and took the bait. And then he just underhit the pass for Angus Thurgate.
Well, it's had everything we expect from a Sydney derby so far in 38 minutes. We've had plenty of attacking. A goal, a little bit of aggro, and the first half has flown past. Unfortunately for the home side, the Western Sydney Wanderers, they again find themselves behind. That goal from Al Hassan Toure in the 20th minute is the first time since Thiago Quintal, back on the 14th of February, scored a goal before half-time for Sydney FC. 2 months in the making. Stamatolopoulos as Sydney go looking for number 2. Kispe. Almost a lovely turn. Jai Rose. And the foul on Garuccio by Thurgate. Referee allows the advantage. Good ball from Ocon. Toure. Panasopoulos just with a toenail on it. Toure again. Now Alexander Popovic. Kispe back. Sydney FC 55% possession, but they've turned it over here. Cicluna, space for Rose. Rose chips it back post. It was an inviting ball. Borrello just looks as though he lost sight of it for a moment. Good strength, Stamatolopoulos, foul by Panasopoulos. Yellow card. The home fans not happy.
Well, there's the chance at the other end. And Borrello not reading the pass and direct up the other end. A little bit of contact there. Away goes Stamatolopoulos, gets the touch there, and you see Panasopoulos just comes late, takes him out. Pleads Stamatolopoulos that he's in a dog-so situation, which there's plenty of cover around to say otherwise.
Third yellow card of the contest, a third in 6 minutes as things start to come to a head before the half-time break. Camijo could barely get a look in under Ufuk Talay this season, the number 8 for Sydney FC. It was Talay that brought him into the side last year and gave him quite a lot of play. Toure. Grant gets there. Toure again. Ryan Grant with a rare sortie forward. Toure, it was a nice step over. Can he keep the momentum going though? He can't.
Well, it opened up a couple of times, didn't it? And then in the end, he just wants to take too many touches, and Western Sydney are able to collapse in on him, close down the space, and end product is a foul for Western Sydney going the other way.
An intense look in the eye of Patrick Kisnorbo. And see him riding every single second of this match. Panasopoulos forward. Kraev gets there, a little back heel. Oh, that's a good challenge from Panasopoulos. Borrello! Oh, that had some sting in it. Kisses off the top of the crossbar. The response for a fired-up Brandon Borrello and a Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, it was a sloppy turnover, wasn't it? Ryan Grant just nicked it off his toe. Brandon Borrello, neat turn. And it goes with some pace, and see the swerve on it as well. Devonish Mears going one way. I reckon he gets a touch on that, you know.
Certainly could see the funny side of it.
I think that little laugh was, you got away with a corner.
Nervous laughter. Just over a minute left. Kankar foul. That one goes against Arslan. Philip Kankar. Gets it back from Brillante. That was a difficult ball, picked off by Kispe, but then Ocon Exler turns it straight over again. Kraev finds the space to look up. Ugarkovic. Kankar. Carluccio. They're finding it difficult to pick out Dylan Cicluna at the moment in those midfield roles. There's a little ball into the centre of the park with Thurgate, but back out again. Garuccio. 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. And he's fired up for it, Ben Garuccio. He wants to play finals football. Championship winner with Western United in 2022. Courtney Perkins, oh, that's overhit. He's helped out by Garuccio. Almost got himself in a very sticky situation. It's well played by Garuccio. Because Jared Carluccio is not 100% convinced that was a free kick.
I think Ben Garuccio was looking to lean in and Carluccio stepped out of the way. Exit stage right.
Devonish Mears looks long. Stamatolopoulos with the big lead. Brillantes found it, but it's come off the arm of Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. Oh, and again, Kispe and Carluccio just sliding into each other. It's a foul by Kankar this time. It's starting to get a little ragged these final seconds as the fatigue sets in before the half-time break. There's been a lot of emotional energy expended as well as physical between these two sides.
Well, it's at all that you would expect from a derby.
And now a set piece as Gary Van Egmond looks on. Still no sign of a foot tally in the stadium so far. Kispe steps over. Arslan takes it short. Now it's played in. Garuccio. He's got a great left boot on him. Ryan Grant keeps it alive for the Sky Blues. Al Hassan Toure. Kispe. The Peruvian again. Oh, great little turn. He does it every game about 100 times, but it still works. That little roll back in one direction, then cuts it the other way.
Well, that was great. And the pass went behind Al Hassan Toure. He'd made a great run in behind. If it was made into his path, it spelt danger.
And that's been the frustration with him so far this season. Another set piece, a corner for Sydney FC. In it comes, Stamatolopoulos was there. Goal kick. Well, he's been involved in just about everything at the pointy end. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. He couldn't get a goal for his personal tally so far in this 44th Sydney derby, but it is the Sky Blues who lead, courtesy of Al Hassan Toure's strike. An absolute rocket into the top corner of Lawrence Thomas's goal. It came in the 20th minute. It separates the two sides at the break in a first half of this Sydney derby that has had absolutely everything. At the break, Wanderers 0, Sydney FC 1. We're heading off to a very quick break. We will be back with the halftime show to break down all the action. Don't go anywhere.
What an opening half it's been here in the final Sydney derby of the season. Now the Wanderers are set to make a change. Alex Gersbach receiving instructions, and he will come on in this second half. No changes from the Sydney bench. Now, to say that Patrick Kisnorbo was riding with every challenge is an understatement. The message is very clear from the Sky Blues. Keep that intensity going. Anytime the Wanderers are on the ball, Patrick is yelling to his players to keep pushing forward, not letting the Wanderers get a sight on goal. We're building up to a massive second half of football in what's been a very fiery Sydney derby.
Yes, we are all set for the start of the second half. It is Al Hassan Touré's goal in the 20th minute that separates the two sides. One change, goes back on at left back, and it is Philip Kankar, the player who has made way. No change for Sydney FC. For them, everything has gone according to plan so far for Patrick Kisnorbo's side that a week ago failed to trouble the scorers in a fairly dour scoreless draw with Brisbane Roar. Well, they have the lead here in the derby, the decider in this 25-26 season, of one win apiece before this evening between these two. And perhaps Daniel McBreen, more important than that, looking forward to potentially finals football, almost certainly if it stays this way for Sydney FC. This is the type of match, the type of performance that you can build something on.
Well, without a doubt. And the simple fact of the matter is, another goal to the good from Sydney FC, and they move into third place in the league.
Which means a home elimination final as well. Here's Jai Rose looking to put a spanner in the works. Jai Rose shot in. Bounces off the foot of Borrello, his teammate. Wasn't goal bound. Carluccio. Good turn. Got the better of Kispe. Now Cicluna. Here's Dylan Cicluna again with Josh Brillante. Alex Gersbach's introduction means it's two former Sky Blues in the Wanderers ranks. That's a good ball. Gersbach picking out Brandon Borrello in the box, and well defended. Western Sydney looking for a little bit more urgency, a little bit more attacking impetus early in this second half. It's another direct ball forward towards Borrello. Foul by Camijo on Jai Rose.
Well, it's a clear push in the back of Jai Rose. Daniel Elder let a lot go early on, but he's not going to let a simple foul like that go.
Thurgate standing over it, so is Alex Gersbach. The left foot and the right foot. The sign is from the fresh substitute off the bench, Alex Gersbach. Whips it in, it's under hit in the end. Gets there to make amends, not for long. And a third time, as he then drags Kispe down. Free kick. No booking, it would have been a quick one. There you see Philip Kankar, the player that made way, has already got the ice on that right thigh. That's meant that Panasopoulos has moved into the centre of defence on that left side, and Josh Brillante is headed across to the right side of the centre of defence.
Well, I wonder if that'll change anything in the way of Dylan Cicluna dropping deep. Will they try to keep him a little bit more in midfield? Such a talented player. It seems counterintuitive to have him dropping back into that back line. You want to get him the ball in midfield where he can really move that ball and distribute and open up the Sydney FC defence.
Here's Panazopoulos. Kraev, now has he been caught there again? Referee says nothing untoward in that challenge from Jordan Courtney-Perkins. Cicluna. Well, another change, Macca, is that Jai Rose has come across onto this left-hand side, as Božidar Kraev has switched flanks. Ugarkovic. Kraev. Dragging Garucho inside. That's well defended by Popovic. Stays on his feet as well. Al Hassan Toure is taking off. Oh, and he just couldn't release it in time.
Needed to go a touch earlier.
Jai Rose now. Good tackle. Ocon Exler. Lovely feet. Skips away from challengers. Stamatolopoulos with Arslan. That's well played. They might be opening up Western Sydney here. Ocon Exler, who started the move, continues it, looks up and crosses. And unfortunately for Sydney FC, he couldn't supply a telling ball. That was nice football, though, from the Sky Blues.
And now they just look to settle it a bit. Pretty frenetic. 5 minutes to open the second half.
Well, Kispe has just ghosted into a position completely unmarked. Turns inside Brillante. And Josh Brillante did pretty well there, perhaps highlighting that Kispe is not the quickest either. Garucho with the throw for Kispe. Oh, that was tricky though. Brilliantly done through the legs of Carluccio. Square ball, oh, and it ricochets around and out for a corner. We'll have a look at that. The nutmeg from Piero Kispe on Jared Carluccio.
Well, beautiful piece of skill there to lose Carluccio, and then gets the body across. Wasn't able to do that earlier, and the clearance for Panazopoulos straight into Thurgate. Could have gone anywhere, and that's a lovely piece of play. Looking to find Stamatolopoulos, who had made the central run as well.
Here they come again. Arslan, square ball. It's cleared by Božidar Kraev. Only as far as Ocon Exler. He looks straight back for Garucho. Under pressure from Carluccio. Now has he been fouled there? Not easy to get a foul at the moment.
No. Some of the players might think they're running over Daniel Kelder's cat. But Garuccio's made a couple of runs. He did in the first half, didn't he? A couple of runs in behind Carluccio, caused him problems. He just had another one there, and the pass just held up in the air, which just stifled the forward motion.
Goes back. Too strong for Toure in the air. It's an attacking throw for Sydney FC. We're going to get down to Nalin Mastu in a moment, as soon as we have a little break in play to hear what the messages were out of the sheds. Arslan, and we'll use that shot from Ahmed Arslan to use the opportunity. Nalin.
Thanks, Robbie. Yes, I have got word from both assistant coaches at halftime for the Wanderers. They've been told they need to be better with the ball, make more forward runs to stretch Sydney FC. And then at the other end of the pitch, they need to tighten up defensively, stay connected and communicate better. Now, in all 11 matches the Wanderers have conceded first in, they are winless, so they've got all to do in this second half. And for Sydney, they just want to keep that intensity going, and as we see, they have been playing very freely so far in the opening minutes of this second half.
Thank you, Narleen. Both sides having their moments already inside the opening 8 minutes of the second half. Here's Kraev. Ugarkovic. Cicluna. Ugarkovic again. His only goal for the Wanderers this spell came against MacArthur. Kispe lays it off. for Ocon-Exler. Powerful running up the centre of the field. Ocon-Exler still going. He's got 3 forward alongside him. Ocon-Exler still going. Stamatolopoulos. Cross deflected up and over and out for a corner. And Ocon-Exler, it was a great run. Sydney fans and perhaps coach will be feeling they should have got more from that.
Well, I actually think the Western Sydney defence did quite well there. They dropped, and then the positioning of Josh Belante as Stamatolopoulos tried to get around the outside of him. Look here how he just drops, then he comes in and he just peels at the right time. And they get back in numbers too, the Wanderers. But that's it, PK. He probably thinks it should have gone to the other side. Alassane Toure has already shown tonight that he's able to find the mark.
And Groucho finally across to take the corner. Now, who was that throwing themselves? Jordan Courtney-Perkins under pressure. Oh, as Kisbeh loses out. Strong from Cicluna, strong from Ryan Grant as well. It had to be. Ryan Grant continues his run. Groucho decides against his captain's run. Camijo now. Alassane Toure in space on this near side. Running at gyro, straight past him. Alassane still going. And Panagopoulos drills it into touch.
Well, too easy for Toure there. Gyros, goes back. Almost like statues, he just went straight past them.
Wataru Camijo. Back-to-back starts for him for the first time this season since Patrick Kisnorbo has been in charge. Popovic. Arslan. Back again. 56 minutes gone. Sydney FC, if they can keep that 10th clean sheet of the season, they will be up level with Adelaide in equal third place. Another goal, they will climb above them on goal difference. The intensity of Patrick Kisnorbo on the sidelines. There you see Ryan Fraser warming up by himself. We heard in the pre-game show, oh, it's been turned over. Popovic with the use of an arm. And now they've got to cover him at the back. Ryan Fraser, who revealed in that pre-game interview that he's been really struggling with Achilles tendinitis. Very painful injury. Gyros cuts inside. Ugarkovic, Thurgate goes back. Rose somehow making it through Ocon-Exler. It's been a good battle between the youngsters. Ugarkovic again with Thurgate, ball in, the header from Borrello off the crossbar, the follow-up, and it's in from Kraev. Božidar Kraev with his 6th of the season. It's his first ever goal against Sydney FC. And he has drawn the Wanderers level.
Well, their top scorer capitalises in the end. On the Harvey Norman replay, let's just have a look here. They moved the ball in the wide areas. Ugarkovic with the ball, and what a header that is. Devin Smears at full stretch from Borrello's header that's going top corner onto the crossbar, and at full stretch, arms akimbo. Božidar Kraev gets his body across with determination to tuck it away and draw them level. I just think off that last replay, does it come off the hand? Let's have another look here. It's a wonderful header here. Great save, but look at the determination for Kraev. He gets the arm up. It comes off the hand first.
It does, and all of Sydney FC players have just seen it. I was thinking that in the first replay and just wasn't sure. Well, even if it's accidental, even if it's natural, even if all sorts you want to say, if it's the goal scorer that scores, it will not stand, because if it hits the hand and it's the goal scorer that scores, then it will not stand. That is the rule.
Well, I must admit, on first viewing, I wasn't sure. It took me a couple of replays, but it clearly comes off the hand onto the head.
After factual review, there is a handball before the goal. It's a direct free kick.
Roar from the Sydney FC fans. Their active support celebrate. Gary Van Egmond asks the fourth official. It's unlucky, it's not intentional, it just glances the hand on the way through, but it might just make all the difference as well. It's a remarkable header otherwise.
Well, that's some save. And it's the contact there as they battle. He tries to get his arm across Courtney Perkins, and as they come together, it almost throws his arm up towards the ball.
And it's the Sky Blue fans that love VAR at the moment. Brillante hooks it behind. Božidar Kraev still looking for that first ever goal against Sydney FC. 26 in the A-League, the only club he's never scored against. Auckland FC and Sydney FC. 13 goals for Wellington Phoenix, 13 for the Western Sydney Wanderers. His 50th A-League match for the Red and Black this evening, and he almost marked it with that goal. Toure with Grant. So Toure's goal still separates the two sides. Gyros wrestling with Ryan Grant. Again, the referee says if the two players want to get involved, then we play on. Cicluna does well in a tight situation. Kraev, back we go with Lawrence Thomas. Here's Panasopoulos. Ooh, can't be too casual. Hand by Kisbay is allowed to go as Wanderers play on. Camijo. Courtney Perkins. And Alexander Popovic. Ryan Grant. Oh, Al-Hassan was looking in behind. Goes back, read the situation well. Just as Ocon Exler did there. Now, Stamatolopoulos for Toure. Al-Hassan Toure. Arslan shoots. The follow-up is cleared by Brillante. Ben Garuccio again. Sydney looking to respond. It's been that kind of night. One side dominates, thinks they've got something out of it, and then the other side replies. Anthony Panasopoulos. Ugarkovic. Western Sydney looking to make things happen. Things are about to happen for Western Sydney as well. And that attacking cavalry you spoke about, Macca, in the pre-game show, is about to make itself felt. 3 changes coming for the Wanderers. Three attackers about to come on. Stamatopoulos. Ugarkovic fouling. Piero Quispe. Oh, we're going to see those changes now. There you see them. Costa Barbarouses, the former Sydney FC man. Hiroshi Ibasuki and Ryan Fraser. Quispe. Ocon Engsler. That's another good turn. Quispe takes over. Stamatopoulos with Arslan. Toure run offside, and again Ahmed Arslan fires wide, and Ben Garucho lets him know all about it. So the triple change coming now. 65 minutes played. And that's now 4 substitutions made for the Wanderers. Barello, Rose and Ugarkovic, the players coming off. Big night for Costa Barbarouses, up against his former club. 18 goals in 66 appearances for Sydney FC in the A-League. And 11 goals in 34 matches against Sydney FC across his career, whether it be Brisbane, Wellington or Melbourne Victory. Fraser. Not the most auspicious of first touches. That one's better. In it comes for Ibasuki. And the substitutes immediately making an impact.
He was just throwing a decoy out with the first touch. And he said he was hoping to get 20 minutes and see how he goes. Well, he's got a little bit more, Ryan Fraser. And looking to link up immediately with his fellow substitute, Hiroshi Ibasuki, who you would think would be the perfect foil with the delivery he puts in. Ibasuki operates inside that box. He's such a finisher.
He's barely had a look in under Gary Van Egmond. Signed just a few days before. Oh, as that's turned over, and lovely touch, Fraser. Well, he's a nice player, isn't he, when you see that in full flight.
Well, it was a lovely first touch, wasn't it, just to dink it around the defender. And he only had one thing on his mind, and that was the curl it. And we've seen him do that before. Watch this touch. Just straight around Popovic, and the next thought is far corner.
4 goals and 3 assists in 9 matches before this evening, since signing on the other side of the world in a new league with new teammates. Talk about hit the ground running. Oh, at the top of the crossbar from Panasopoulos. Well, they're getting closer.
Well, that's the 3rd time now, isn't it? They've hit the woodwork. It was a lovely header, just guiding it on.
Double change for Sydney FC. Akola Kon coming on, the player that provided those 3 assists for Sydney FC against Western Sydney, the club he left over the summer. Just 16 years of age when he made that spectacular arrival on the scene. And Rhys Yuli also into the game in the middle of the park. He replaces Camicho. Now Panasopoulos has been caught there. Is it just a blow? Looked like it was one of those ones on the nose. Oh, on the way down.
Yeah. And you got first the ball and then the shoulder.
two Sydney players completely missing the ball. Bojidar Kraev with the big up and under.
Well, Okon Exler and Ryan Grant, the only two players going for the ball, knocked each other out the way, and Western Sydney profited from it.
Al Hassan Toure was the other player to come off. Here's Barbarouses. Back it's Dylan Cicluna. Fraser, ball in towards Iwasuki. Panazopoulos, another one for Iwasuki to chase. Big clearance from Alexander Popovic. Melbourne City against the Phoenix tomorrow at 2:55 on Paramount Plus. Massive clash in that race for that final spot in the top six. The Phoenix hunting Melbourne City at Amy Park. Don't miss it. We've had 3 draws already this weekend. 2-2 last night between the Mariners and Brisbane Roar. 2-2 between Auckland and Melbourne Victory earlier. The Jets were held by Adelaide. All that means in the ladder that Sydney are level with Adelaide in 3rd place. Another goal and they will climb above them. Victory, City, Macarthur, Wellington, all still in the hunt for finals football. As here's Fraser racing away. Fraser's cross just too far for Barbarouses. He gets it now. It was Carluccio in the middle. Iwasuki was there. So was Kraev. No way through for Thurgate. Kispe. Garuccio with Arslan. Space for Akon. Running at Gersbach. Inside and out, Akon, but no way through. It's Bojidar Kraev who gets it back. Fraser all the way back with his goalkeeper. Well, it's been played, as you can see there, pretty much in the middle of the park. Neither side has really dominated. It's been from one end to the other. Periods of domination which have pretty much evened themselves out over the course of the game.
Well, when you look across all the stats, it's almost 50% possession, 9 shots each, 4 on target each. It's almost been a case of, well, you have a go, then we'll have a go.
Akon gets there. Trying to dribble his way past. Corner. Off Gersbach. Thiago Quintal, the hero from the last derby, that 4-1 win at Allianz Stadium, preparing to come into the game. As Patrick Kisnorbo looks to the bench for a second time. Garuccio. They're in no hurry, Sydney FC now, as we approach the final 15 minutes. Garuccio takes it short with Arslan, gets it back. Now the cross comes in. It's taken a deflection on the way through, has it? No. Goal kick taken quickly. Too quickly for Sydney to make that substitution. Big switch for Fraser. Touch off, it's under hit for Gersbach. And now Ryan Grant plays on, advantage. Stamatopoulos accelerates. He's done well. He's got away from Cicluna. Arslan, oh, and he was looking back for the continued run that wasn't coming.
Well, it was also just a poor pass, wasn't it? So promising build-up. Ryan Grant took it upon himself to continue the play. And the game still hangs in the balance.
Carluccio comes inside Kispe. Oh, as Carluccio suckered in the challenge, Iwasuki is fouled. It almost fell invitingly for Barbarouses. The whistle had already gone. Now the substitution will come. It's Ahmed Arslan who will make way. He's being encouraged to make his way off the field as quickly as possible. And Thiago Quintal, who's had a breakout season, the number 20, after playing at the Under-20 World Cup. A round of applause from the travelling fans. Now Gersbach and Thurgate are standing over this free kick. Look at Anthony Panasopoulos, a lone figure in the penalty box. Cross in. Ryan Grant not taking any chances.
Well, you could hear the call of man on. If he wants that bounce, Ryan Fraser was lurking with intent.
Thurgate now. The Wanderers searching for a goal. In it comes Ocon Exler, the header at the near post. Carluccio gets there. Anywhere will do. Dylan Cicluna picks it up off his goalkeeper. Closed down by Quintal. He goes looking for Panasopoulos. The header from Ryan Grant is a good one in the end.
Well, that's what you call route one. Panasopoulos just stood there and pointed and said, put it in behind. Cicluna wound up the leg and just thumped one forward.
It's Quintal. Rides the challenge. Yuli for Akon. Again, referee sees nothing untoward in the challenge. Carluccio. Barbarouses back for Brillante. Here's Panasopoulos again. Cicluna's touch under pressure from Ocon. Free kick. Sydney is starting to look a little more defensive. They've tried to get that second goal. It hasn't worked out for them so far. Now they'll have one eye on the clock, knowing that if it stays this way, the finals will be theirs. Brillante, dispossessed, Kispe. Robbed by Carluccio. It's another free kick.
Oh, just a bit of a negative mindset. Didn't have too much go forward, but maybe take the touch forward, try and win a foul, take the ball up the field. Just turned straight back into trouble and gave away the foul, and they're back under pressure.
Another set piece. Again, Thurgate is there, so is Gersbach. It will be Thurgate to deliver. Plenty of pace on him towards Iwasuki. Panasopoulos as well. He's caught Akon. It's out for a goal kick. There are Sydney FC players strewn around the penalty box.
Well, Hiroshi Basuki was all over Nikon Enxler. And Panazopoulos came heavily over the top of Nikola Kon. Typical aggressive Panazopoulos style.
Western Sydney Wanderers have outshot Sydney FC so far. It's been the story of their season. 4th most shots in the league, 12th best accuracy. These two sides that are both passing sides, they're both possession-based sides in terms of their philosophy. Kolakon didn't think that was for him. Barbarouses back to his keeper. Goes again for the return ball. He'll do well to keep that in. Now Quintal. Can Sydney take it beyond? The follow-up, Kolakon blocked. Another chance for the youngster. Brilliant save again. What a chance for Kolakon to get his first ever A-League goal. Doesn't turn 17 for another month and a half. Cicluna. Oh, he's been fouled on the edge of the area. Asking where the yellow card was.
Well, here's a look at the foul. Enxler goes for the ball. Popovic goes for the ball, doesn't get it, but this is the other end. The follow-up, but look at the desperate defending from Western Sydney. They're not going to give it up. Kolakon with 2 bites at the cherry, but red and black shirts coming back to help Lawrence Thomas, who palmed away the initial strike from Quintal.
I think it might have been Panazopoulos that got the touch on that last shot from Kolakon.
And such is football. Here we are, right down the other end, with a moment that could be extremely pivotal.
Now Gersbach scored recently, but Panazopoulos fancies himself with the free kick. Reece Yuli is the draft excluder down behind the wall. It is Panazopoulos. Just too much. Not easy that close to goal to try and get it up and around the wall, which is a huge barrier when you're that close to goal.
Yeah. Maybe in that little awkward distance from goal, but you knew as soon as it came off the boot it wasn't going to come back down.
Sydney FC fans biting their nails as they hold on for what they hope will be their first win in 5. Quintal, oh, it's a great run. Stamatopoulos, brilliant finish. Well, that's the delivery he's been looking for. And look what it means to those Sydney FC players. They come from the bench as well to celebrate down in front of their travelling support. A moment of brilliance. Quintal and Stamatopoulos combining. And surely now, the derbies this season will be sky blue.
Well, Harvey Norman replay. Opportunities at both ends, but it's a little bit of opportunism. He gets in and he wins it, and what a ball that is from Quintal. The run from Stamatopoulos was perfectly timed, but determination there. But here, this is the finesse. Puts it in behind, and then Stamatopoulos with the little dink over the on-rushing Lawrence Thomas. That is class from the pair, and it's daylight, and it's 3rd place as it stands on the table for Sydney FC, and it's bragging rights over their noisy neighbours from the west.
Well, Western Sydney are not happy They feel that there was a foul in the lead-up. There was a bunch of players led by Alex Gersbach talking to the referee. Stamatolopoulos, his 6th career goal against Sydney FC. Have a look at this. Is there a push there on Panasopoulos?
Well, there looked to be a push there, didn't they?
We'll see it here. He doesn't contest the ball, Stamatolopoulos. That's what the Wanderers are not happy about. VAR have cleared it. Substitution made. Stamatolopoulos, scorer of his 2nd goal in Sky Blue, makes way for Pat Wood. That'll be more of the same. Pat Wood will chase down everything he absolutely can. Goal number 26 in the A-League for Apostolov Stamatolopoulos.
And still, Padis Kisnorbo lives every moment. He is still on the sideline. We were accustomed to seeing him kicking every ball when he was at City. Well, nothing's changed.
Božidar Krajev going head first into that challenge, colliding with players. Western Sydney Wanderers, just 1 win in their last 9 before this evening. Sydney FC looking for back-to-back derby wins. Western Sydney have had a couple of chances. They thought they had the ball in the back of the net, ruled out for handball against Božidar Krajev. It's been the story of their season. They've hit the woodwork again this evening. Brandon Borrello and Panasopoulos both hitting the crossbar. That's 18 times. And as you can see, that goal on the live ladder means that Sydney are up to 3rd. How quickly things can change. Auckland FC, the only side that can say they've hit the woodwork as often as Western Sydney this season. Kispe with Wood. Quintal, 3-on-3. Thiago Quintal. Akon. Blocked by Gersbach. Corner to follow. 2.5 minutes left plus stoppage time. Well, a week after Easter, long weekend, Western Sydney were hoping if it was too late to save their season, there could be some redemption for this playing squad, which has had a change of coach. Alan Stajic replaced by Gary Van Egmond. Now, Akon has gone down after a collision with Thurgate. Those two have been pushing each other for the last minute or two. He's an experienced customer, Angus Thurgate, not by any stretch a dirty player either. Well, just trying to get him away from his goalkeeper more than anything. Look at the wrestling that's going on down there now. And Pat Wood with a couple of pushes. Now he's trying to tackle Lawrence Thomas, not let him get the ball away quickly. Into the last 60 seconds. Kispe. Wood for Quintal. He provided the assist. Thiago Quintal, what a season he's having. And they'll be very happy that Stamatolopoulos has returned on loan from Scotland, and his time at Motherwell to complete this season. Tough night so far for the Wanderers. O'Connexler's been good again in the middle of the park.
Well, he has. It must be said, the Wanderers showed a lot more than they did last week. They've stepped up in this derby, but Sydney, when they've had their opportunities, just been too good.
Ryan Grant. Yuli. Goes back, does well. A challenge on Akon. 4 minutes of stoppage time. There's the Paramount Plus player index. An unlikely source. The two goalkeepers, 1 and 2. Devon Ishmeers and Lawrence Thomas as Quintal. It's true that it's been such an arm wrestle that there's been no real single standout player on the pitch, but there's been plenty of effort getting forward. Kisbay, Pat Wood's touch abandons him. Oh, as Panazopoulos and Lawrence Thomas don't make the best of that. Now there's a foul by Pat Wood. You can see Lawrence Thomas trying to get things going as quickly as possible. Barbarouses. There's still a couple of minutes left. You talk about the pride they've shown this evening, the fight, the pride in the jersey from the Western Sydney Wanderers in front of their new sporting director, Alimpion Bato, who is watching from the stands this evening. Also under the eyes, perhaps not here this evening, or perhaps Ufuk Talay, the former Sydney FC boss, who will be taking charge of the Wanderers next season. Goes back. Nicely done, Ryan Grant. Quintal, he's done well. Quintal, great pace. Foul by Cicluna. Quintal slowly back to his feet. He's made a real impact off the bench in providing that ball for Stamatolopoulos, and now Daniel Elder telling Alex Popovic that he has to take the free kick as he looked to waste a few more seconds. O'Connexler. Yuli. Akon. Ryan Grant, Akon again. He overdid it, the youngster. Cicluna looking for Kraev. Barbarouses' touch. Can't find a teammate. Garucho no way through. Cicluna, there's a bad foul there by Rhys Yuli. There'll be a huge roar from the sky blue end of the ground when the final whistle goes. We'll only know at season's end how important this victory will be, but it certainly feels like a big one for Patrick Kisnorbo's side. The first for the new coach at the helm since taking over from Ufuk Talay. A win in the derby. The 4 minutes are up. Referee Daniel Elder says that's enough. And it is the sky blue side of Sydney that has taken out the decider. courtesy of Al Hassan Touré's goal. It came in the 20th minute. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos sealed the deal with 7 minutes left to play. And despite plenty of good intentions, it is a result and a performance which pretty much sums up Western Sydney Wanderers' season. They were there, they gave it everything, but things just don't want to go their way at the moment. They hit the woodwork another couple of times. They had a goal ruled out by VAR. It is the story of a season that sees them take another step closer to the first ever wooden spoon in the club's A-League history. Kisnorbo's all smiles. There's still no light at the end of the tunnel for the red and black, not this year at least. They have long since turned attentions to the 26-27 campaign. Sydney can turn their attentions now to finals football. They will be playing come May. Finished here at Combank Stadium, courtesy of Touré and Stamatolopoulos. Sydney FC 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Well, Macca, there can be no really contesting the result at the end of the day, despite an improved performance from the Wanderers.
Well, exactly right. When it came to the crucial moments, Sydney FC showed that they have the quality.